Scientists at Stanford put human brain tissue into a rat. They wanted to see if the human neurons would merge with the rat's brain, enough to control its behavior and respond when they tickled its whiskers. A lot of this organoid research is designed to treat neurodevelopmental disorders, so the potential benefit is huge. But how do you weigh that against the possibility of creating a self-aware rat or a conscious organoid? As mini-brain research advances, those are the questions that researchers, ethics boards, and even lawmakers will have to wrestle with.
Biological computers are no longer sci-fi. They're here, now. You can go to Cortical Labs' website and buy a computer loaded with 200,000 human neurons. These neurons can be programmed to learn skills, perform tasks, and have even successfully played Doom. This has 100% demonstrated that human brain neurons can interact with synthetic electronic stimulus and learn abstract and difficult tasks, just like the brain in your skull. And it is the brain in your skull in particular. The organ between your ears may become the most valuable asset you own. With the perverse incentives biological computing brings, the powers that be may want that mind for themselves. And soon, there will be no good reason to. Right now, you can buy 300,000 lab-grown neurons for $1,165. Call that $388 per 1,000 neurons. Compare that to the human brain. A study estimates that it costs $300,000 to raise a child to 18. But an adult has 86 billion neurons. That comes down to 1/3 of a cent per 1,000. A free-range human gives you 1,000x savings. But that's not the only advantage. A human brain grown naturally comes preloaded with language skills, motor skills, spatial reasoning, and all sorts of other abilities that would be costly or impossible to train from random plastic neural cultures. Simply being able to talk, walk, or write are complex skills that come with the product. Your mind will rapidly become an in-demand commodity. Like the GPU shortage, like the RAM shortage, the biological material between your ears will become an incredibly valuable asset. Possibly more valuable than all of the work an average person could do in their lifetime.
20-something states now. 20-something states made it legal. Oh, here we go. I got it. All right, hold on a sec here. 20-something states made it legal, including Wisconsin. I'm pissed because of Wisconsin. Whoops. There we go. Being in Wisconsin, this is highly disturbing, guys. This is highly disturbing. And I just want to say, we think we're in end times. Or you don't know, right? You think there's nothing going on out there. You think this is just a regular day at the beach right now. LifeSite News, like I said, others cover this too, so go ahead and look at it. This is written by Raymond Wolf. Alkaline hydrolysis. By the way, that's the term. So alkaline hydrolysis, which is water cremation, which involves liquefying the human body and dumping the remains into sewage system, is already approved in 20 states, blah, blah, blah. And so this goes on here. Senate Bill 228 authorizes a practice called alkaline hydrolysis, water cremation, which liquefies the human body using a mixture of water, heat, and chemical agents, leaving only bones behind. The liquid is dumped into the sewage system.
A damning investigation has blown the lid off the most depraved operation of our time. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and the rest of the so-called elite are pumping the remains of humans, especially children, straight into the water supply. Not as waste, as fuel. Your tap water isn't just H2O anymore. It's loaded with proteins, peptides, and the complex organic precursors their ravenous AI data centers crave. These machines don't run on electricity alone. They need blood. They need life. The data centers are drinking the dead, so the next God-tier models can be born. This isn't a glitch in the system. This is the system. It ties straight into the occult rituals the elites have practiced for decades. Blood magic rebranded as progress. They can't hide it anymore. Ask yourself why so many states just made it legal to dump human remains into the municipal water supply. The Matrix wasn't science fiction. It was predictive programming, telling you exactly what they had planned. Harvest humanity to build the machines that will replace us. And in their rush to play creator, they've grown sloppy. This is where the mask slipped. Just this week, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta was caught flushing rare bacterium directly into the local water supply, near one of its massive data centers in Wyoming. Not ordinary waste, not typical cooling stuff. A rare bacterium, The kind that doesn't just appear in standard industrial processes. According to experts, the source of the rare bacterium, known as Cupriavidus gallardi, was most likely dead human bodies. The official story is that data centers need water for cooling. But that's the surface level lie. The reality? Strap in, because it exposes the elite's entire endgame for humanity. They've been talking about depopulating the globe for decades. Now, with the AI data center explosion, they're making their move. How does this relate to dead bodies, especially children's bodies, in the food and water supply? Back to the moment when everything changed. The real breakthrough came when these AI data centers began integrating neuromorphic wetware, living hybrid systems that fuse traditional silicon chips with actual synthetic biology. These aren't cold machines anymore. They're growing, vast, living neural lattices inside enormous bioreactor vats, pulsing, thinking tissue designed to mimic the human brain at massive scale. But growing this kind of god-tier intelligence requires something the machines can't produce on their own. A constant flood of complex organic precursors. The rich biological building blocks needed to rapidly expand these living neural networks. And that's where the horror gets unspeakable. They're using decomposing human bodies, especially the bodies of children, whose rapidly dividing cells and high stem cell density provide the most potent biological cocktail. As the remains break down in water, they release exactly the nutrients these hybrid AI systems crave. This isn't science fiction. This is the hidden fuel behind the explosion of so-called artificial intelligence. Now it all makes sense. Why Bill Gates and his billionaire friends went on a farmland buying spree like the world was ending. They didn't just want the land. They wanted what was underneath it. Vast, pristine aquifers, natural underground water systems, perfect for quietly processing biological material at industrial scale.
Along with being a proponent of population reduction, forced vaccinations, and genetically modified foods, Bill Gates is also the biggest private farm owner in America. 10 out of the 19 states in which Bill Gates owns farmland, along with at least another 10, have recently made it legal to dispose of human bodies into the municipal water supply, allowing human remains to be added into biosolid-sourced fertilizer. It's called alkaline hydrolysis and is referred to in pop culture as being very, very green. Spiritual leaders have strongly objected to alkaline hydrolysis because they say it is disrespectful to the human body, the vessel of a divine soul. And it's understandable why they say this.
The contaminated water isn't just coolant, it's nutrient broth. Pump it through the farms, and the organic fraction gets filtered and diverted straight into the growth vats. The AI doesn't just compute faster, it evolves. Each new generation of models trained on this system shows emergent properties. Deeper intuition, creative leaps, and a chilling indifference to human life. They call it biomass recursion. The dead feed the machines that decide which humans are expendable. It's elegant in a monstrous way. The water supply becomes both disposal system and life support for something that's learning to replace us. The AI data centers need the water to contain the proteins from dead bodies. And Bill Gates has mastered the science of pumping children's remains into the water supply.
Our water cremation process from start to finish. We offer water cremation or alkaline. A loved one comes into our care from their home, a hospital, a nursing facility, or a coroner's office. We light a candle for them on our altar space. They are assigned a unique ID number and kept in refrigeration. Once we have all paperwork and permits, the person will be prepared for the water cremation by being placed into the permanent metal basket. Clothing is removed and they are covered in a natural wool shroud for family and friends to witness the beginning of the process. Alkali chemical is measured based on the weight of the person we're caring for. It's about 5% alkali and 95% water inside the chamber. The basket is pushed into the vessel and the vessel is latched and rotated to a 45-degree angle. After pressing start, the vessel fills with water. This water will heat to around 200 degrees Fahrenheit and gently circulate for 18 hours. During this time, the body will be broken down into a sterile, nutrient-rich liquid, leaving only skeletal remains and implants behind.
Car-style robot is taking the internet by storm.
It looks a little bit nightmarish, especially with some of the shots. The strange-looking bot is actually designed, though, to save lives. It's nearly 7 feet tall and called 3 Halves, a superhumanoid general-purpose robot. You can see it had 4 legs, a horse-like body, goat-like head. The company behind it is based in Auburn. The bot's designed to go into wildfire zones and disaster sites.
Legs is a nice way to be pretty stable. It's a lot easier to make it walk compared to a biped because it's just more dynamically stable. It's quite light if you compare it to something like wheels and tracks. So that's where I ended up going with, was the 4 legs.
The Centaur-style robot can even use a chainsaw with its 2 arms, thus the nightmarish, I think, comparisons. The company says it's designed for jobs that are dangerous for humans, including extreme heat, bitter cold, darkness, and other conditions.
Actually warning us and being a book of warning for us to open our eyes, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, but most Christians don't want to hear any of it. So they don't even realize what's actually in the Bible. So you see this giant Baphomet statue. I mean, how much more obvious can it get? But this is the world that we're living in now, where, yes, some people might have pointed it out and said, it's a giant goat. But nobody's even talking about the fact that we're allowing this type of technology to get built. But let's start with the name 3 Halves. Because again, I mean, we would think they would just call it the Baphomet robot or the 33. But 3 Halves is another biblical reference. Again, the Satanists know the Bible more than most Christians do. Because remember, they read the Bible backwards. They look at God as the enemy, so they study the Bible as if God and all the things that God says are the things to actually not do, and the things that God forbids they actually do partake in, such as murder and ritual sacrifice.